everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Before I even tell you who I am, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. You have the hardest job on earth. You do. Fight me if you don't believe me. I will meet in the parking lot, just like our last speaker. No, I am just so grateful for caregivers. I always say that you should be paid an NFL quarterback salary. And yep, one day, okay? Family caregivers literally have the hardest job, and then dementia family caregivers, that's just another ballgame, right? And so I want to thank the people that are caring for their mom or dad, caring for their spouse, caring for a sibling, a child, sandwich caregiver, you're doing multiple generations at once. Thank you to the people that are caring for someone they don't get along with. You know how many people I meet and I say, thanks for caring for your loved one, and they go, I never said they were my loved one. And I say, fair. So thank you. Thanks for showing up through it all, because you're important, and it's just a privilege to be in a room with you. So before I go into, I want to know who here thinks they've been caregiving the longest? Who has some year? How many years?
25.
25. Can anyone beat that? Woo! Oh, someone's coming for the crown.
37.
37? 57? Oh, she's the queen of the day. Okay. Wow. See, and who is the newest caregiver, you think? Who's a newbie? Who just started their journey? Some of us, yeah. Welcome to the club you didn't want to be in. Right? But we're here, and you're not alone. Unfortunately, millions of people are caring for loved ones, and they still feel alone. We often say, when I'm talking to caregivers, they often say, we're alone together in a way. We're alone in our houses, but we know there's another one crying in their closet too at the same time. So we are together in this. So I'm really big about fighting the tragedy narrative. Through my work, it was not sitting right with me how people were speaking about dementia and how people were perceiving the people I loved that were living with dementia. And I just want to really be a part of the change in how we look at dementia. And we fight the tragedy narrative together with every bit of care that we provide, every language we change to be the most person-centered and dignified we can be in our daily lives. So this is something really important to me, and I've made it kind of my full-time job is let's fight this tragedy narrative and let's speak up together. So here we go. We're just going to do a couple things today. I know we've already talked about dementia a little bit, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible because it took me forever to understand how to explain dementia, and it's my job, so I know it's hard. We're going to just add a couple things to your toolkit and make sure you know about some of the types of grief. It's nice to put a name on some of the grief we're going through, and then we'll do as much Q&A as you want. And as we go through this is our time together, not me. This is our time, so please, throughout when I'm talking, interrupt me and ask a question. I'm here for you, okay? We don't have to wait till the end. So I have to bore you a little bit about who I am. Again, I go by Dementia Darling. My journey completely started when my grandmother and grandfather got in a horrific car accident, and my grandfather died. I was 6, and my grandma was catapulted into dementia with this really bad brain injury. And my dad literally woke up in the middle of the night to a phone call and was like, you're a full-time family caregiver now. Who else became a caregiver like that? You wake up and you're like, oh, I'm a caregiver. Cool, okay. Yeah, most of us don't wake up and choose this role. And thank you if you have chosen it. There are people that have, but most people haven't chosen this role, like my dad. I watched my grandma go through her journey with dementia, and then she ended up passing away when I was 13. This always stuck with me, and it led me to focus my studies in gerontology, the study of aging, and then on top of that, really get into dementia and Alzheimer's. So one thing that I learned when I was in college, I was working at an intergenerational adult daycare center. It was magic. It was the preschool on the other side, and they'd come twice a day to hang out with the 40 grandmas and grandpas. It was so cool. So it solidified why I'm on this planet, and I just absolutely love caregivers and the people they care for. So this led me to starting an Instagram, weirdly enough. I kept meeting people and hugging family caregivers in my daily work, and they would often say, "You're the first person to tell me thank you in years. You're the first person to say, this sucks." And I thought, how can I do this for all the caregivers? How can I cheer them on? How can I hug them virtually? So I went to social media and I started Dementia Darling randomly. I like alliterations, don't ask me where I got it. So I started this, and now it is my full-time job supporting family and professional caregivers as Dementia Darling. And that just shows the need and that we are ready to change how we've been doing things. And I'm excited to be a part of this wave of how we're going to go into the future of dementia care and really show what caregivers deserve. Because again, you have the hardest job on earth. And it's not a full-time job. It is a 365, 24/7 job, right? Even if you're not with them in the home, your mind is never off. You're always on call. So thank you. Please recognize that. Follow me on social media, Dementia Darling, if you like. I try to keep it light, but educational. Okay. And one thing also is that I'm very passionate about innovation, and I work with the Age Tech Collaborative with AARP. So I'm on the forefront of all the tech coming out. So I'm going to share some really cool tech with you today. But this is my favorite quote. Has anyone heard this before? Who knows Teepa Snow? That's a name you can't forget. So Teepa Snow was the person I first started. I mean, she was the original person that I studied, and she is an OT. She has an occupational therapy background and is one of the best in the dementia care world. But she said this, and it couldn't be said any better if you ask me. Dementia does not rob people of their dignity. It is our reaction to them that does. Who agrees? Yeah. We need a more accepting society, an educated society, right? And unfortunately, it's kind of on the caregivers to educate a lot of the time, and you don't have time. That's another thing you have to do. So we got to educate as a whole in our communities. So nearly 12 million Americans provide unpaid care for people living with Alzheimer's or another cause of dementia. And I just want you to know, so again, that just shows you're not alone. Unfortunately, so many people are in this situation, and the number is only growing. It's supposed to, I believe, triple by 2050. So we're gonna see a lot more caregivers and people living with dementia, but you deserve support and respite and education and all the things. Okay, so again, please ask questions if you need. Dementia knowledge, again, I know we've kind of been through this today a little bit, but this really helped me to understand how to explain dementia to the people in my life that needed to learn and needed to know how to talk about it with me. Okay. So dementia is not a disease in and of itself, and this can be really hard to explain to people. It is a set of symptoms that is caused by something. So dementia is not a disease, just plain and simple. It's not a disease. It's a set of symptoms that is brought on that affects memory, thinking, communication, behavior enough to impact their daily life. What that means is dementia and Alzheimer's are not interchangeable. So when I talk to a professional and they say, well, dementia and Alzheimer's, either one, that's not correct. That's not, because that's not another disease. Alzheimer's is the most common cause for these dementia symptoms, as was stated before. This sentence changed it for me in my brain. So I said this when I couldn't remember how to explain it to people. They have dementia because of their Alzheimer's, if that makes sense. So they may have dementia because of their FTD or their Lewy body dementia. There's all these different kinds. Does anyone know what they say is how many causes of dementia are out there? What number?
Like over 200 maybe?
Almost, yeah, pretty much. About 120, they say, but I think it probably could be 200. I mean, it's a lot of things we don't know. We've focused so much on Alzheimer's, we have so much to still learn. But we do see, of course, Alzheimer's is the most common cause for this. Does that sentence help a little bit? It literally helped me so much. I would Google things in the middle of presentations because I just couldn't say it right, but this helped me. So I made this little dementia umbrella thing to kind of put it in perspective a little bit, because these are the top 15 that we see, and I know it's hard to see, but that's only 15 raindrops under that dementia umbrella. We have, again, as we said, about 120 is what they believe. But these all present in different ways, and that's why it's so important for us to keep track of, the different symptoms we're seeing and how our person is reacting, and that's why it's really important for us to learn about different causes for dementia, because not all dementia shows up first as memory loss. So then a lot of people go on without getting the right diagnoses because we're just not there yet to understand all these different symptoms that can arise. Okay, so as you know, caregivers know this far too well, that we're not just dealing with memory loss, are we? No. Our person is not just forgetting and it's like, it's fine, we'll put more Post-its out with notes. No, so much more. That's why I'm kind of an advocate for changing the word memory care. It's dementia care, it's cognitive care, it's a lot of things, right? And those word choices can really make it hard for people to understand what you're going through, right? Who feels gaslit, if you know that term, by family members or friends because they say, well, they just have memory loss, it can't be that bad. Or I saw them, they looked great. Well, what does someone with dementia look like? I'm sorry. I hate that. So this is really frustrating when the stigma is, and the misunderstanding is, well, it's just some memory loss, it's not that big of a deal. No, so much more. Okay. So yes, we know symptoms can overlap and vary, and every single person is different. And that's why I don't even like saying, oh, I'm a dementia expert. No, I don't. We can never really be an expert. I feel like every single person is different. Every minute's different. We can't prepare for things, right? We can do the best we can with the knowledge we have, but it's really the most unpredictable thing to deal with as a caregiver, right? So we're still learning about all of these different things that can happen because of dementia. You will see me anytime I talk about behaviors, I do quotes, because behavior is kind of a negative word. Agreed? Yeah, it's negative. And unfortunately, being in the professional caregiving world, I've seen, in people's files, well, this really difficult behavior and they're a challenging person. I think they were just trying to tell you something, and they can't tell you the way they have in the past anymore because their brain is changing, right? And so when we look at it as communication and not behavior, it changes the game. And when we see, behavior, we're going to redirect. We're going to just, okay, let's get them a cookie and redirect away to something fun. That really belittles what they're trying to tell us. What are they trying to tell us? Can you imagine not being able to tell someone your pants are wet, or to tell someone I'm hungry, or to tell someone I'm scared, I don't know where I am. So yeah, I start crying, or I start screaming, or trying to get out the door because I can't tell you what I need to tell you. It makes sense. And when we flip that and we look at it with empathy and we look at it, where is this person coming from? We can really see they're just trying to communicate in a very unfamiliar world. So it's our job, and it's your job, unfortunately, because you're doing so much already. Just the paperwork of a caregiver is enough. But now you have to actually decipher what they're trying to tell you. This is really hard, so please give yourself grace. No one wakes up and just knows this information and just can do this. It's very hard. I put this up because, as I said with Teepa Snow, and I really want to change the tragedy narrative of what has been lost. I love that Teepa doesn't do stages or like you're a stage A or 1 or 2 like that. She actually says you're a gem. You're a gem. And it makes sense. So there's different gems as you progress, but what she does is she focuses on what is still there, not what has been lost. So anyone can look this up online and just see where their loved one is. Even, at the end stages of life, you're a pearl, and that's beautiful. And that just means you're hidden in a shell, ruled by reflexes, short moments of connections, mostly immobile. You express unmet needs with distress. You react to touch. can recognize familiar and liked things, and they have limited visual regard. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown, and this is how I like to look at different stages of progression personally. I think it's a way nicer way to say it. I would love if someone called me an amber or an emerald instead of a, number 3 or 4. What also makes this so difficult is it doesn't just affect the person with the diagnosis or the caregiver, it affects everyone. Who in here has children in the family that are like, what is going on with grandma and grandpa? Yeah. Does anyone in here care for someone with young onset dementia? Anyone care for someone that has children themselves that's living with dementia? This is happening. We're seeing younger and younger people, and it's, of course, touching, no matter what age you are, it touches the entire family. And that's something that I think people outside of this world do not understand. This is unlike any other type of caregiving experience. And the other thing that makes it so difficult is, of course, the progressive nature. This doesn't just go away after some rehab. You can live for 20 years with dementia or more, So this is a long haul. This is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So, I'm really, just please remind yourself there's so much to learn on this journey, and you don't have to know it all. You do not have to know it all right now. So here are 3 things that I like to just say. It's their brain changing, not their heart. It is literally brain change. So I know it's annoying to be like, don't take it personally, and that's not just gonna go away when someone tells you that, but just to remind yourself in those really difficult moments, their brain is changed. This is not something they would say to me or do. Unfortunately, their brain has been damaged by this disease or by, whatever it may be that caused the dementia. But I know it's hard. I know a lot of this is like, come on. It's like when I tell caregivers, do self-care. They're like, cute. So I know it's hard. And then when they act differently, they're trying to tell us something, right? As we were saying, communication. So these behaviors that make our life so hard are actually them trying to tell us something. And then please know that you being present, even when you don't know what to do, just being present is everything. Showing up is everything. And as you probably know from a lot of family members, siblings that don't show up and you do, give yourself some credit for showing up, because not everyone does. Okay, next. Okay, so a couple practical tips. I did a 6-hour talk last week. That's how long I can talk about tips, you guys. So you can email me if you need some more tips. So let's go into some essential communication knowledge. So again, it's brain-based, not choice-based, these differences. So just remembering that it's not a choice, it's our role to adapt, not expect them to adapt to our world. Okay, so as difficult as it is, we have to step into their world. We have to leave ours alone. I, learned this. It took me a while to learn this. I would literally fight with my residents about the stupidest things to orient them to my world. This one guy was saying that Mexico was a state. And I was just like, it's not. I was so upset. And it's like, who cares? Who cares if he thinks that today? Go for it. It's not hurting anyone, right? It's hard to let go in the moment, especially when it's your person and you're like, I know you know this. I know you know this. But sometimes we have to go, I don't care. Who cares? They're not hurting me or you. Go for it. So once you can kind of give yourself that grace to just be like, this isn't a big deal, actually. If someone likes to touch a lot of things in the house, it can be very stressful, right? Okay, well, sometimes we just have to say, they're not hurting anything. I can put that stuff back later. Let them be. Let them be. I know it's easier said than done. But honestly, once we let go and we really see what they're doing, it starts to make sense. For example, there was a woman who I cared for at a memory care, and she was up all night and we couldn't figure out why she wasn't sleeping. And this is why history is so important of knowing the person, is finally after a while we realized she worked the night shift at the hospital. She was a pediatric nurse. And we wondered why she always had the baby dolls in her room at night. Took all the baby dolls. She was caring for the babies. And it made sense. So we had to remember to let her get off her shift. And if we all we did was, your shift's over. Thank you so much. We're going to take care of the babies tonight. Your shift's back in the morning. She went to bed again. It made sense. Didn't that make sense? So sometimes we just have to stop and think big picture here. Why could this be happening? And pulling from history, pulling from things you know about them, why are they combative? Because when I try to shower them in the morning, well, maybe because they took baths every night. And now you're showering them in the morning and they're like, that's really weird. I've never done that. So thinking about those things can be a really big game changer. And again, you do not have to be perfect. Showing up is everything, everything. I'm sure you've heard it when people say if they may not be able to remember your name, but they remember how you make them feel. You remember vibes, right? You remember if someone gives you the weird sense of energy, whatever. You remember that, and you become their safe person, right? You're their space. Does anyone here get shadowed, meaning their person is right behind them? Yeah, it's so hard. You just want to breathe alone for 1 second. Go potty alone. But you're their safe space. You're their person that they know, if I'm with them, I'm safe and I'm going to be okay. I'm in the right place. And when you're in such an unfamiliar world and you don't know if you're doing anything right, that's your lifeline. So remember that. I know it's frustrating. Even when they shadow you, even with their eyes, they don't even have to be behind you. But if you leave their eyesight, they're like, ah! That's shadowing as well. So really difficult. Your job is so hard. Okay, this one changed the game for me as well when I would fight with this guy about Mexico, is focus on feelings, not facts. Our facts don't matter anymore, right? So how I like to think about this is when you're talking to someone, let's say, hey mom, what did you eat this morning? And she's like, I haven't eaten in 5 days. Well, okay. No, I don't think so. How about we do instead, hey mom, how's your morning been? You can answer back about your feelings and not feel like you're being quizzed, because you can't get a feeling wrong, right? So they can answer that a little bit easier than having to remember a couple hours ago or even a second ago. And when they put in those words of, oh, well, I haven't eaten in 5 days, that's called confabulation, where their brain is just trying to fill in gaps. And so they know they've eaten, but they can't remember when, so their brain just takes something and throws it out there and they take it. So it is a brain change. It's not they're like, I'm gonna lie and say I've never eaten. It's that their brain is telling them this is correct. So here's an example for you, I believe.
Next slide.
Yeah, oh, sorry. I'm just assuming you know. So this helped me a lot. And I know this is awkward as a family member to go in and say, hi, I'm your daughter. It can be awkward, but man, is it so much nicer to set someone up for success so they can know what's going on and not feel quizzed. When you come in, who am I? Who am I? And one thing is, it's usually not a volume issue. It's usually a comprehension issue. Stop yelling at them. Say it slower, more concise. My people hated me because I'm so wordy, I'm loud, and I'm just insane. So they didn't like me very much, but I had to really be in my mind, say, you need to slow down, you need to speak concisely for them, small sentences. But hi, I'm your friend, I'm here to hang out. So when you're bringing someone in from into the home to help and they maybe are having some trouble with that, say, this is your friend, she's just my friend who wants to come hang out. Don't say, they're here to care for you. No, this girl really wants to hang out with you. She heard you knit. Can you teach her? It's friendships, okay? So I'm your friend. Instead of what did you eat this morning? How do you feel today? Instead of, what did we do in New York together? That was so much fun. Instead, say, I loved going to these things in New York with you. Give them the context. We don't need to be quizzing anyone. No one likes to be quizzed. No one, okay? Next. When in doubt, I love this. Listen, validate, and then redirect. So I know I said, don't redirect, but first listen to the feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if they're saying, nothing makes sense. They're saying all these things, the confabulation is coming out. Just validating, you can feel the emotion, if they're upset, they're angry, what is it? Validate that. That sounds really hard. I'm so sorry. Instead of, oh, that didn't happen, let's get coffee, you're fine. Because when we actually get to validate them and see, okay, maybe I can figure out what's going on. You might not figure it out for a while, but keeping track of, why is this happening at this time? Or did something happen earlier? Did they not sleep last night? This can be really helpful to listen, validate, and then you can redirect. I like when people say this to me because you don't always want to be helped. I say, do you want to be hugged, heard, or helped? And that really helped my family because I'd be like, don't help me. I just want you to say this sucks. And so sometimes you just want that validation. So just being there for them. So think, what do they need from me right now? Okay, next. So yeah, small changes can do big things. Like if you are experiencing sundowning, for example, that agitation in the later day, these small changes of setting them up for success in the earlier day by getting out some energy, by making sure the lighting is really great inside, by, supporting them in these little ways. Even I'll touch on in a second, colors can actually have a big impact. These things really do play into how you can care. And I actually have, I can share it later. I have an hour talk for AARP I did on YouTube, and it's dementia friendly home and how to set your home up for the most dementia friendly and safe. So yeah, just remember, as with the shadowing, you're their safe space and then you're creating their safe space, whether it's at home or with you or in a community. So some environmental considerations, simplifying as much as possible. Can you imagine having all the things in your bathroom and you're like, there's 3 tubes. There's preparation H, toothpaste, and lotion. They all look the same. What are we gonna pick? Who knows? It's crapshoot. So we need to get rid of as much as possible and just leave out the one thing they need, right? Just leave out what they need. Same with dining, just what they need. Yes.
Can I make a comment? Our loved one has some hoarding tendencies, and after 4 years, she had accumulated a lot in her bedroom, and she has a lot of anxiety, is always messing with her stuff. And we pulled out 3 trash bags of stuff from her room, and her anxiety went way down. It used to take her 2 hours to find what to wear, so she took a shower. And we simplified her. She now has a dozen pair of pants, 3 dozen pair of pants. I know you're supposed to have a simple environment, and it really did help her anxiety.
Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. And people might hoard because of their past, right? They weren't fed enough. There's reasons for this. If you grew up in the Great Depression, whatever it may be, this is common. And but the clutter is so overwhelming. And she might not have just known how to get rid of it, like how to throw it away, or how, you just never know how people can get kind of stuck in those. Thank you for sharing that. It definitely helps. And reducing noise and clutter, I can't, when the TV can be really against you guys. I had a woman at home, we thought we could watch The Office. She thought when they bickered that we were bickering with her. And she took that as she was in trouble and really internalized that. I also had a woman who loved Titanic. Do not watch Titanic. Everyone was drowning all the time. It was very scary for everyone. I can't imagine how real that was for her. So think about what's on the TV, honestly. And I'm going to share my favorite, it's truly my favorite resource. It's created by a woman. Her husband had FTD, and and he was very young and could not watch TV without getting so agitated. And so she created Zinnia TV, and it's literally Netflix for dementia care. And it's $6 a month. And I have a code for you to get a whole year for like $60. Yeah.
What is that again?
I'll show it. And it's called Zinnia TV. I have their website up so you can see it. It's a game changer, and there's education on it for you. So color theory, this is something I wish I had pink hair when I was in professional care, because apparently pink helps with anger, like helps calm people down. I could have really avoided some punches. So, but color theory, it's kind of nuts. Have you ever noticed, do you have anything black in your home, like on the floor or a seat? It can look like a hole. And that's why some people might get scared of the shower. They might think that the hole is bigger, it looks bigger to them, and they might fall in it. That's why, if some people that don't want their people wandering out the door, this is a dignity issue in my head, but you do you. We have to do what we got to do for safety. It's you can put a black mat in front of the door, and they won't cross that most of the time because they think it's a hole. So living in Vegas, the casino floors are so bad. It's like checkered and it looks slick. So I walked with a woman and it was so sad because she was just like going to only the white spots because she thought she would fall through. This can be a really big issue. Same with, and then another thing is red. Red can be really helpful and stimulate appetite. So we see red plates to really make their food pop because a lot of our food is like tan. I don't know why I'm at least in senior living, it was like a lot of mashed potatoes and stuff like that. So you couldn't see it on a white plate or a tan plate. So having that different plate to really pop can help a lot. I've also seen red toilet seats. So people actually see the toilet. Do you know what color is one of the last colors that are really, really helpful for people living with dementia? Lime green. Lime green is like the last color you really see well. Apparently, that's what they say. So it is, I've seen a lot using green on their door so they know which door is theirs. I've seen it on the walker handles, get a lime green tape and tape it around and they'll see their walker better. My friend used to make little parking spots for people in wheelchairs that didn't know where to park their wheelchair before getting into bed and use the green tape and you're good. So lime green helps a lot because they can see that a little bit better. I went to a memory care recently in Texas and a woman kept shopping in someone else's room. That's gonna be me to a T. But she was only taking green things and they were wondering why. And then there was a green sign on that door and all of her stuff had purple. She couldn't see it anymore. So she was just like, and so we got rid of the green and she stopped going in there. Isn't that weird? So, and then lighting. Lighting is really important. We want to stay, the natural light is really great, and getting a light in the morning and then keeping it consistent through that sundowning time can be really helpful. Keeping it consistent. Sometimes when the light's changing outside, it can trigger that circadian rhythm kind of being a little off and can lead to those behaviors, quote unquote. So keeping it light inside so they don't feel the difference in light outside. Yeah, and then that's when you start to keep the light in, yeah. So as the day changes, but we really don't know what sundowning, really is caused from. I personally love this theory, the spoon theory. Has anyone heard the spoon theory? So the spoon theory, yeah, it can be for us, people living with dementia, but what you think of is you start your day with a handful of spoons, and that's your energy allotment that we have. You and I might have one spoon, to get ready in the morning, but someone with dementia might have to use 3 spoons of energy. So they get to the afternoon and they don't have spoons left. So they don't have that energy to give. And that's what how we explain sundowning now is like, they just don't have anything left to give. So they're just having whatever comes out at this point, because I don't have the energy to show up anymore. And that's why we sometimes see show timing. You're like, why were they so great at this party for the family? Now no one believes me how hard this is. And then they get home and they're back to it. And you're like, what just happened? It's because they used all their spoons for that event. Does that make sense? It's rough though for the caregiver. That's when you take videos and you say, I'm not a liar. Okay, so, but yeah, when we know these things, when we can set people up for success and educate people that my person is not being weird or doing things it might be out of the ordinary for us, but he is trying to communicate with me and that is what he should be doing. So we need to be able to educate as much as possible because you deserve to be able to go into daily life in society and go out to dinner and not be looked at. You deserve to be able to go into society and still live your life. But unfortunately, it sometimes doesn't feel like that, right? Because you're like, well, what if he does something or what if they do something? And it keeps us from going out. So when we speak up, we can really change that narrative and make these places more dementia friendly. I just saw a group that made dementia friendly movie theater. And they keep the lights up, they bring the stuff to your seat, your snacks, there's people there to help you, the volume is a little lower, like amazing. And so there's things we can do to really engage with our communities and make it less of a stigmatizing thing. So focusing on what remains is super important. So that's that strengths-based mindset. We're focusing on, okay, what is still possible? What can we still do together? There's so much that we can still do. We just have to adapt. We have to, they can still do things they like, but it might just look a little different. So that's when we really want to focus on what still remains with our loved ones. So some of them that I like to just throw out there is, finding joy in the little things can just be so amazing. And, finding the time to just stop and be in the moment. That's one thing that's a little bittersweet about dementia is we get to really be in the moment, don't we? Because that's all we have together, the moment. And it's kind of beautiful that we have that. And on the other side, it's also bittersweet that we get do-overs. When we are maybe we didn't like how we did that, okay, or maybe they're having a hard time with the shower. Okay, well, I can leave the room if you're safe. I can leave the room for 5 to 10 minutes and try again. So that's another bittersweet, look at how we can just go into it a little differently. But adapting to them, adapting to their abilities and supporting them and showing them that, that they can accomplish things. They're still very much present and a part of their life. And celebrating all the wins. Celebrate that we are dry at 2 p.m. and we are chilling. Celebrate that, you got a nap. Celebrate whatever. I bet you haven't gotten naps in a long time. I'm sorry. I'm a napper. But, celebrate every little thing. It really adds up. And but I know in the thick of it, it's really hard to find the wins, but we have to look for them. We have to find them because that's what keeps us going. And I like to do something called a happy list, where I write down 5 to 10 things that I know my person likes and that makes them happy. So, and you can make one for yourself as well. But when someone comes and visits and maybe gives you a break, even if you're just in the other room, you can say, these are the things that you can talk to them about and they will love it. These are the things you can focus on. Because when we go in, when people that don't really know what to do and they have something, it can help them a lot to feel comfortable. And then they'll be like, oh, that wasn't really hard. I could just talk to him or I could talk to them. And it'll make them feel more confident and empowered to help you. So making just a little list, and then everyone who comes in, if you have help coming in, hey, these are the things that you can always talk about and it will be a good time. This person loves dogs. This person loves the beach, whatever it may be. Okay? And just know, again, it's not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about being there and showing up. That is the best thing, and you are such a gift to be showing up for your people, because every person can still experience joy and purpose and all the things that are connected with their lives and at any stage or ability that they're in. One thing, when Bruce Willis, his diagnosis came out, I'll never forget, a newspaper literally wrote, Bruce Willis can no longer experience joy. That was the headline. It's that's disgusting. What a way to, make this tragedy narrative a little bit more rough for us. That is not true. There is possibility for joy throughout our entire life, no matter if there's dementia or not. We just might have to look for it, and it might look different than joy did in the past. Joy maybe for your loved one in the past was traveling and doing all these extravagant things, but joy now can look like a really great cup of coffee in the morning. Joy now can look like you guys holding hands and just being silent together. That is joyful, and that's something to be excited about and to celebrate. I really like this. Do not talk about them, but talk with them. They're part of the conversation. Who has gone to the doctor, your neurologist, and they're talking to you like your person's not there. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah, we have to change that in the healthcare world too, is how we are communicating with the person. Because at the end of the day, we're there for that person, and they need to be a part of that conversation, whether they can verbally be a part of it, but they need to be in that room and as much as possible in part of those conversations whenever they can.
Training ourselves, me personally, not to be so brutally honest. Don't state the obvious, you can't. This is so good. There are areas that I'm failing in. And
you're not failing, first off. You're not failing because you're here today and you show up every day. You're not failing at all. And I really want you to know that. Leave, like, never feel you're failing. Thank you for showing up and sharing your love every day. I appreciate you. Hardest job on earth. Hardest job on earth. Please give yourself credit. Can you imagine yourself 5 years ago seeing what you do? Maybe not our girl at 57 years. But could you imagine, 5 years ago, you seeing what you do? Like, oh man, I do it all. Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit. You were given the hardest job on earth without asking for it. Okay? And I just like nothing about us without us. I love that. That's with any one living with, something that makes them different from others in society. Is nothing about us without us. They have to be a part of the conversation as long as possible. And that's why I love this resource. I'm going to share it on the screen, but this is on your list as well. This is called the Dementia Self-Management Guidebook, and it was created by 6 people living with dementia in Nevada, in the state of Nevada. We finally did something nice. That doesn't have to do with gambling. And they paid for it, so everyone in the world can get a PDF of this for free. And then everyone in Nevada gets one sent to their house for free if they want. So if anyone wants to pretend they live with me. But it's incredible. It's like color-coded and all the things. And again, made by 6 people living well with dementia and how you can live well too. So if your loved one's in an earlier stage, get them this. Let them be a part of their journey too, okay? I'm gonna put it up on the board, but it's Dementia Self-Management Guidebook. And it's from the DEAR program, so the Dementia Engagement Education and Research Program at UNR, where I went in Reno. So it's through the University of Nevada, Reno. But it's on your list, and I'll make sure everyone has this, I promise. Okay. Grief. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's talk about it. Next one, please. Sorry. I made this, and I thought it was so true. This is one of my biggest posts online. Is grieving what could have been, but also enjoying every moment you can, right? We have to grieve what we thought our life would be like. We have to grieve what we thought our relationship was going to be like with that person. We're allowed to be sad about it. Also, they're grieving too. We might think, oh, well, they're having a really hard day. Yeah, they're probably grieving. Their whole life has changed, and it's changing every day. So we have to think about that. Grieving doesn't go away. We're still human, even with dementia. Joy does not go away. Sexual expression does not go away. These are part of being a human, okay? So I just like that to remind us both can coexist. You can have 2 things happening at once, and they can both be true, okay? So these are just words or labels for the grief we feel. So it can be kind of nice to see, oh, I'm feeling this, and it is a legit thing. So anticipatory grief. That is when you're anticipating the loss of your person, right? So it's this anticipatory grief of your person is still there. Maybe with dementia, you're anticipating the next loss, the next progression. You're anticipating when they're gone completely from, later down in their progression. You're anticipating so many things, and that adds up. And then there's ambiguous loss, where your person is there physically, but they've changed. They're not who you've always known. That's just that ambiguous, that's really hard on our hearts to understand and to grieve, and we need to grieve that. And then the cumulative grief, so that's when all of this is just adding up. You're caring for 57 years, and it's adding up. And you are always going, and you don't have a chance to stop and deal with it, right? Who here has been able to take time off besides this today out of your role for respite or for time for yourself in the last year? If you had some time, okay, good. I wish all of you had your hands up. One day, we're gonna need to get respite for everyone. But when you finally get time to breathe, you probably don't want to go through your grief with a therapist or something, but I highly recommend getting, to talk to someone about your grief because it is valid and it is very real. There is, and it's on your list, and I will state it again, I'll make sure it's sent out, There's a free caregiver coaching for dementia caregivers specifically called Steady. And they've created this amazing support for free for dementia caregivers to talk to a coach about all the things you're feeling and actually care about your health and what you're doing. So if you're feeling these, please know you are valid and this is very real. And if you feel like, oh my gosh, why am I not, seeing the happy stuff? And why am I not, feeling that I can find joy on this journey? That's okay. Give yourself grace. It takes a long time. And you need to work through a lot of grief. So give yourself grace again. Next. I know we talked about burnout before, so we know who here has experienced burnout. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that not everyone raised their hand. Yay. Okay. It is not a definite, and we don't want to say, oh, this is just a part of caregiving, but it's really common, unfortunately. So that burnout, that emotional, physical, mental exhaustion. You can go forward. Okay. Again, as was said already, taking care of your brain, taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's non-negotiable. So just putting little things into your day, even if it's, putting in your earphones while you're doing the dishes and putting on your favorite song and getting a little sassy dancing at the sink. So, but it's important also to be social. Both you and your loved one to be social can help a lot. Okay. This took me forever to understand is you cannot entertain people 24/7. And sometimes when you're caring for someone, you feel like they're bored, they're watching TV again. You are not a professional tap dancer 24/7 and supposed to da-da-da-da-da all the time. That's not your job. If we were entertained 24/7, it would be very annoying, right? We'd be like, get away from me. So give yourself grace. I say that again and again, but give yourself grace. You do not need to always be doing a craft. You don't always have to be doing something. It's okay. Everyone has bad days. As I said, do not take those bad days to heart. Don't be like, oh, I failed as a caregiver today. No, they're a human and they had a bad day. If they were happy all the time, I'd want to know what drugs they're on because everyone has a bad day, right? So it's okay. And then you're doing the best you can with the knowledge you have, right? Sometimes we're like, why didn't I know that? Well, no one, again, wakes up with this knowledge. This is like a whole new, it's literally a PhD program you can get. It is like a PhD degree in dementia. Like there is so much to learn. So give yourself. Right. Yay. And then your loved one, who has heard this? Your loved one is having a hard time. They're not giving you a hard time. Wait, is not giving you a hard time. They're having a hard time. Sorry. Who's heard that? Well, let's add to it. And so can you. You can also be having a hard time, caregiver. The situation we're in sucks. It's not our person. It's not you. It's the situation that we're angry at, right? So just remembering that. It's not my person doing this. It's unfortunately the brain change that is happening, and this is unfair. And then you are human. Again, your past self would be so proud. So in those moments of like, oh, I should have done whatever. No, 5 years ago, would you have known that? Look at how much you've learned already in 5 years. Give yourself. Yeah, I've never done that before. Now that's going to be part of my. Okay, go on next. And then you are not just surviving this, you are growing in it, and some days will feel like you're just surviving, and that is normal. But please keep going because your presence is everything. Showing up is everything to people, and just being present. If you don't know what to say, hold their hand. Just be present. You don't always have to know what to do. But every moment that you have together, every moment of you showing up is truly special. So just know that you're not alone, and I just thank you guys so much. We have some, I think the next one. Okay, you have these on your list that were given out, and I'm going to make sure they're sent out again so you have the links that are easy to click. But I just wanted to highlight, but I want you to know about Hilarity for Charity. They have grants or respite grants that you can potentially, that's Seth Rogen and Lauren Rogen, that's their group, and they're bringing light to Alzheimer's. They're incredible. I'm part of their care squad the last 5 years. They have free education all the time, free. Yes, the school, oh my gosh, brain health stuff. If you have younger people at home, it makes it cool, like to learn about brain health and dementia because it's Seth Rogen. And then I'm just obsessed with their support groups. They have specific like millennial support, Black caregiver support, male support, like find your people, and it's online, so you're not leaving your home. And then they have, the respite grants, which is incredible. Lorenzo's house is for people that are dealing with young onset. So I don't think we had anyone in here, but if you ever meet anyone that is diagnosed under the age of 65, they are pretty much the only group that I've seen that is supporting people all over the world dealing with young onset dementia. They specifically focus on the children. So they work with children as young as 3 years old with a parent living with dementia. And then if you're dealing with FTD, please know about the Association for Frontal Temporal Dementia. They're doing amazing work and research. And what I know it was kind of talked about, the clinical trials. What we're seeing is, if you're not able to maybe get seen right away with a neurologist, it's really hard to get to people in Vegas. I've learned through the FTD group that there are people who have been able to sign up for these trials and then get the support they needed from a neurologist by being in a trial. So you never know if there might be some opportunities there. And then Dementia Careblazers is one of my favorites. YouTube, you can be a Careblazer with her, Dr. Natalie Edmonds, and then Teepa Snow as well. CareMobi app is an app you can keep everything organized in one place and then add people to it so your family members can see all the updates. Everyone's on the same page. It's free. Ionicare is another platform for family caregivers. And then Rune is a free website where you can get questions right there. There's video answers, multiple of them, because we know dementia is not a one size fits all. And it answers like everything you would ever need about dementia care. Rune, R-O-O-N. And then it's Zinnia TV is the TV, and I will put that up on my thing in a moment, but you can use Darling 15 for 15% off a year subscription. So it's $60 a year for Netflix for dementia care. But I don't even like to say that because it doesn't even encompass how amazing it is. There's education on it for you. There's workout classes, sing-alongs, all the things. And then Nana's Books is a book series made for people living with dementia to reminisce. And then Mirador Magazine is a magazine subscription for people with brain change, so they can still get a magazine subscription if that's something that's important to them. They're beautiful. And then SingFit is a therapeutic music app where it will give the words to your loved one before it comes in the song so they can sing along and not miss the words. It sounds very confusing, but it works. And it's just beautiful because it asks for a little information about like their mood, so it gives you the music that's going to fit the vibe at that moment, and it pulls from their sticky years, which is the music that we had in high school and college, and that's what usually those kind of age groups, what we connect with. And then that's me, and follow me and just know you're not alone, and please see the amazing community on social media. The caregivers that are showing their stories, you can relate, you can see other people doing what you're doing at home and connect with them. The community online has been one of the most beautiful things to be a part of. The support, the love, the just realness of it all. Looking up hashtag on any social media platform you like, hashtag dementia caregiver, whatever you're looking for, hashtag Lewy body dementia, and then find your people. You will be shocked with how many people are out there and they're sharing their story and that you can relate to. And then any questions? Come on. You can literally ask me anything, but I might not know it. Yes?
So is it common for caregivers to kind of self-diagnose if someone has dementia and then kind of advocate to talk to their doctors? I think my family member has dementia. What testing is available and how do you know?
It's so hard because some people, how do you even get them to the doctor if they don't believe you that they need to see a doctor, all the things. First off, if they don't want to go to the doctor because they don't, agree, trying to take them for something else, trying to get them in there, but call before and tell them what's going on. say, I'm coming in, I don't want you to make it very pointed at them. I would just want you to kind of see and talk with them, and this is what I'm experiencing at home. Have documentation of what you're seeing, because documentation is everything for that. So if you're like, okay, this day, just in your phone, like a notes section, like this is what happened today, that was a little different. Just so you kind of can see, you can give them a full picture instead of, because when we get to the doctor, sometimes we don't know how to like explain well, but definitely calling beforehand, they can be prepared to look at the right things, and then your person doesn't feel so attacked or something can help. But I would start with I think you have to start with the primary physician, and then you'll get sent to a neurologist from there. But it's so hard.
There's already a neurologist involved. My husband suffered a stroke about 6 years ago, but I've been noticing like memory loss, just different, just not remembering the most current things, but just remembering the past. That's just I'm trying to make connections here, and seeing all of this going on was like, wow, okay, I'm not crazy.
No, you're not. And yes, you're not, I promise. And with strokes, unfortunately, that's, the lack of blood flow to the brain can lead to that vascular dementia. So that may be what you're seeing, but yeah, keeping track. And it is normal, to be stuck in those younger years and kind of revert back to that time. So yes, remember that if you're, let's say, you're a daughter and all of a sudden your mom or dad don't see you as a kid, they might be in a time where they didn't have kids yet. So it's like, it's not that they don't remember, like they don't want to remember you. They literally didn't have kids yet. So they're like, well, this is weird. This grown adult thinks I'm their mom or dad, that would be weird if you truly think you're in this age group. So I like to think, oh, well, if they think, oh, I'm their mom now or their aunt, how cool is that even in this timeline, you're still seen as someone they love and trust. So trying to switch it a little bit can help in that. Yes.
How do you remove some things? No one talked about that. You said take them out. I face a situation where if I touch anything,
yeah, you're the bad guy.
I don't touch it, I get blamed for where it's
you don't look at that stuff.
So how do you get that clutter out? She had collected porcelain dolls, and she has them on the shelves in the room, and she's breaking them, but I'm blamed for it. And then she has them in baskets, and I'm like, well, Mom, why don't we just take these out? No, don't you touch them.
How?
What do I do?
Starting small, right? And if anyone else has the tips to throw out there, if you've been through it, but starting small and taking things that you don't think she's more focused on, little by little, and I know that can take a long time if they have a lot of stuff, but starting small and just making sure the most prominent things that you see her like connecting with stays, and just trying to keep it as consistent as possible around her as you're kind of like slowly taking things. I hope that helps. Yeah, it's just about being slow about it, because you can't reason. You're never going to reason.
And I had to learn that.
Yeah, don't waste your time.
Like what you said, always trying to reason. I'm like,
Oh,
why
it's
am I doing that?
yes. I'm like, you get back a lot of hours once you stop reasoning. I'm sorry, that's really hard. And if anyone has a tip for her, please throw it out there. But I just think slowly but surely, yes.
I have gone through that myself. Somebody else wanted his golf clubs. So I was trying to figure out how to get them out of the house, let somebody else use them, and have him not notice. And so I suggested that my daughter was going to take golf lessons. So she took the golf clubs out, and once they're out, and he doesn't see them, he's kind of forgotten about it. So you might,
I love that, and I saw that with someone who was trying to get the guns out of the house, and he didn't want it. Yeah, so it's like, okay, and they figured out we're taking them in to get polished or something, and it worked. Or and then one was like, yeah, we're taking it to the sheriff to make sure it's like safe and good. Like it was just, but you have to be creative like that. Very smart. Yes, and then you were giving out some advice over here too.
I just said take photos of the items.
Yes.
So that when she breaks them, she still has it.
Take photos of the items, so she'll have that always. Smart. And then when it breaks, you'll still have like that picture, and that might suffice, having the pictures. You're like, oh well, there was water damage in that area. It's in a storage unit. I took pictures of everything. And when we are lying. It's called therapeutic fibbing. It makes it sound way better. So you are therapeutically fibbing. Okay? No, I think if you are saving someone from heartbreak and upset, lie to me. I would want you to lie to me. Yes.
I know that we're supposed to join them in their hallucination, in their reality. And if her reality is that there is a man right outside her bedroom window trying to kill her and trying to get in, and he's reaching his arm in, how do we join her in that reality? We want her to feel that she's in a safe space. We want her to go to bed. So my husband, I've tried with him, and it's like, he doesn't agree. He thinks she needs to believe she's in a safe space. So, like, what are we supposed to do when their reality is so scary?
Yeah, not all hallucinations are the dog, like the sweet dog next to you. I had a woman who just believed that there was children in, because she would hear the AC go, and she was like, children are down there and they're dying. Like, that was on her mind always. And it was so horrifying for her, right? And we would, people would come in and say, that's not, no, it's not, and, just totally tell her, she's crazy pretty much. And that obviously doesn't work. So it was validating the need of, something is happening. So we came in and we're like, oh my gosh, we heard about the kids. We called the police, the fire department, they're on their way and they're getting taken out right now. Like, do you want to talk about it? And just validating, like, that was scary, but I got it taken care of. I got you. I got it taken care of. And it doesn't always work. It could take a couple times. I used to put in my phone 911 or police, and then my friend was on the other line and would say, we got him, and you can kind of help in some ways that time. So you could go outside and be the police if you need on the phone.
It doesn't work.
No, does anyone have a tip? That's so hard. And this is the thing, like, he's always there. Is the lighting a thing, you think? Is it like a shadow she's seeing, maybe?
I think at some point it's medication. Is probably
Medication as well.
Have you put anything over that specific window?
Yeah, we blocked it with the light block.
Yeah, and the guy gets through.
It's gotten better, but I'm just like, what do you do when their hallucination is terrifying? I don't
So
want to
hard.
join the terrifying.
No, you don't want to come in screaming with her, but like, yeah, but being like, wow, that is really scary. And I'm working with the police on it because that is horrible and you shouldn't be going through that. But I know because it's like you could say that and then gonna forget it in a moment or.
Feel safe in our house,
Exactly. That's such a hard one. And it sucks to say sometimes like, oh, it might just take until the next progression to where she forgets about it, unfortunately. And we don't want to be like, next progression, come faster. We don't want that. So I'm sorry. Yes.
He used to be like an avid book reader. Those days are done. I have bought him a book, but I'm like, okay, are you gonna read your book? So, I mean, what can we do? If not we, what can I do? Because it's just me, and I just say trying to help him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Apathy is very intense when it happens, right, in dementia, when your person just doesn't want to do anything. And unfortunately, it's not their choice. They're not like, I'm going to be apathetic today. That brain change is making them not want to do anything. So that's really difficult. And that's when we have to try, and I know you're already doing it because you did the books and, the fishing and everything, leaning into as much as you can the things that he likes, but how can we adapt for where he is now that is still connected to that? So maybe, please.
He's also a double amputee diabetic.
You're working with a lot here, absolutely. Yeah, and you have to get so creative. I mean, maybe it's instead now watching on YouTube fishermen and talking about the fish. And, oh no, okay. This is hard. I wonder if the Nana's books, because it's mostly pictures and reminiscing, like very familiar pictures. But does anyone have a tip for this? Because this is a really hard one. Is there anything that he could do with his hands? I love to ask people to help me because they usually, he said he doesn't want to help you, never mind. But usually people want to help a little bit. But there are, I got on Amazon once, and I know this might be too, simple for him, but I got these metal puzzles. It's like two metal pieces together, and you have to take them apart, and kind of feels like you're doing something like a guy would do in the shop. I don't know. But like you have to get these metal things apart, and it keeps your hands busy and your mind busy. But yeah, he might just be like, what is this? Okay, we got to brainstorm, girl. We got to brainstorm. I'm sorry, that's hard. I wish, and this is the thing that's so hard, I wish I could be like, do this, it will work, but it's just no one size fits all.
To put out on one of the groups, the online.
Yeah, put that out on an online support group. There's so many. Definitely look at different posts and how people react before you start posting, because some can be a little toxic. But absolutely, writing that on there, and you can get some good answers out of that. We have to learn from other caregivers. That's the best way to go. That's why those support groups, like Hilarity for Charity support groups, or the Lisa Gibbons has a group, Lisa's Care Connection, support groups in town here, all of those, you can learn from each other. Yes?
I had never heard of it before, but when my dad got pretty bad, I made a fidget blanket.
Yes, fidget blankets are amazing. And for people that are, so it's literally a blanket with a bunch of stuff on it that you can play with. I've seen a lot with baby clothes that they can button up and down, and it's cute. And then for people that walk around a lot, you can make it with an apron, so they have something to do while they're walking. And then they make little fidget muffs as well to put on their hands. Yes. Yes, you can. They're bigger on Etsy, but I will show you. So Eugeria has them. This is on your list, EUGERIA. They have the fidget stuff, but you can also look on Etsy. If you have like a group in town from a church, ask them to make you them. Like I had a woman who sewed, and she did that because that's kind of how she was processing things with her mom. And she made a fidget blanket for every resident I had, and it was 72 people, and she got in People magazine for it. But she created it because it was something she liked to do. So you might be able to find like a group that does sewing or something like that.
They're on Amazon.
They are on Amazon? Yep. I have an Amazon store, and there might be one on there too. And I'm not connected to the internet anymore, but I was going to show you. Do we have any more questions? Okay.
How do you work with someone that has multi-diagnoses like back pain or ringing in the ears?
It's so hard. Is that what you're dealing with, the back pain and
Yeah.
and kind of issues with sound?
So how do you, nausea, how do you?
It's so hard because, yeah, you really have to pay attention to their body language, right, and their communication. And if he's always in pain, you might not be able to decipher if maybe he's hungry, but it's just the pain, maybe, and very difficult. Is his communication not a verbally communication?
No, I'm looking at further down.
Further down, yes, absolutely.
Because that's the scary part for me, not, okay, how am I gonna know when, he needs medication for his back pain, or when he complains about ringing of the ears or nausea? How do you, I just don't know how I'm gonna.
Yes, and thank you for all you do for him, and yeah, you're amazing. I would start documenting. I would start kind of seeing his baseline, his cadence of, this is kind of when his back seems to hurt. Oh, like this is kind of consistent here. Because you might be able to get into a rhythm with him that you'll kind of be able to sense what's coming. So I would definitely keep track of, maybe after we go to church on Sundays, he's in a lot of pain on Mondays. Okay, so I can remember that. Or the nights that he sleeps terribly later on, I see him, having issues with this, and this. And then you can just kind of see, and that's something, again, you can show the doctor and say, I'm not able to understand when he needs help through these notes. Can you kind of tell me maybe where those indicators are? But documentation is going to be your best friend with trying to see how he's changed, and maybe some of the triggers that come with that can help give you pointers of where to go, in a sense. But it's so hard.
That one's hard.
It's so hard. I'm sorry. That's just so much to deal with.
You touched on the different types of grief. Is there more information out there that we would be able to self-care ourselves as we go through those different stages?
Yes, and that's really great for support groups. They should go into grief a bit if you're in a support group. But there's a group called zencaregiving.org. I think it's Zen Caregiving, not Zen Caregiver. One of those, but it's on the list, I believe, or I'll make sure you have it. But they have mindfulness like worksheets for caregivers and different things for you to work through different grief and do. You can do some meditations through them. Like they have a lot of really great information. But there are some out there, yeah. And a lot of social media pages are about grief, and that's what I've been connecting with. And it's incredible to see the people sharing their grief online and how it's helpful to people.